Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Ginseng and Tinneman were raised by the same man, obviously, and had lived their entire life in the same village. However, they could not have been more different. Ginseng was the eldest son, and he was a farmer, right down to his feet. He loved to work hard. He was an honest man. He always told the truth. Contrast this with his younger brother, Tinneman. Tinneman loved to sleep late. Tinneman loved to gamble. Tinneman loved to chase loose women and drink. So after the mourning period was over, their father was over, the two brothers sat down to talk about what now. Ginseng had the idea that they could go to a different place that had better prospects for planting the seeds and having a nice flax farm somewhere, and in a few years they would be prosperous farmers. This didn't appeal to Tinneman very much, but he said, okay, I'll go with you to see where you think we can do this farming. So they climbed up 55 ridges on the mountain and went around 99 bends in the river. And they finally got to a piece of land that was not windswept like their home village was, but it didn't look very promising to Tinneman. There was nothing there but weeds and rocks. And Ginseng said, no, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. Within 10 years, we can just make this place blossom. And Tinneman said, 10 years? 10 years? You must be kidding me. I don't have 10 years. So the two brothers talked, but Tinneman was out of there. I forgot to mention that in addition to being a ne'er-do-well, Tinneman didn't think there was any problem with lying and cheating if it got you what you wanted. So Tinneman went back down the 55 ridges of the mountain, back down the 99 bends in the river, back to the village where the two young men had grown up. But he had big plans. Now that he had this pint of flaxseed, he had big plans that were too big for this tiny little village. So instead he walked to the county seat, which was a town much larger than the village that the two brothers had grown up in. And for a while, Tinneman was able to live off of his gambling wins. Don't forget, he cheated all the time, so he won a lot. But after a while, he realized that he was going to have to get some money somehow. So he devised a scheme, and this is what he did the first time. He went to an inn on the outskirts of town, and he had his flax seeds, and he said to the innkeeper, now I have these very valuable, very rare flax seeds, and I want to be sure they will be safe if I stay here in your inn. Do you have any rats in your inn? Oh no, said the innkeeper. There are no rats in the sleeping quarters at all. There is a rat in the dining room, but they never go in the bedroom. Well, hearing this, Tinneman was smiling from ear to ear because this was exactly what he wanted to hear. So he said, okay, I'll spend the night, that's fine. The middle of the night, everyone's sleeping. Tinneman takes the flax seeds and he creeps out into the dining room and he carefully looks to find the rat hole. And then he sprinkles the seeds in front of the rat hole. And, of course, the rat eats up all the seeds. And Tinnaman goes quietly back to bed. But the next morning, he raises such a racket. Oh no, my seeds are gone! Oh, he cries, tears running down it. Did I mention he's a pretty good actor? So the innkeeper is horrified. I don't know how that could have happened. The rats never go into the sleeping rooms before. What are you going to do to compensate me? What do you suggest? Give me the rat and 5 pieces of silver. Well, the innkeeper, being an honest man, he said, okay. Unfortunately, to find the rat, he had to tear down his whole inn. And 5 pieces of silver was all he had in the whole world. So he was ruined. But Tinnaman was happy. He had 5 pieces of silver, and he had this rat. So the next scheme, in a few months, when the 5 pieces of silver ran out, Tinnaman chose an inn that was closer to the center of town. And he bought a fancy cage for this rat. And now the rat was a golden-eared mouse. So he walks into the inn with this golden-eared mouse, and he says to the innkeeper, I'd like to stay here, but I have this very valuable mouse. I want to be sure it's safe. Do you have any cats? And the innkeeper said, well, yes, we do have a cat to keep down the rats, but I will personally put the cat in a cage tonight. You won't have any trouble. Well, Tinnaman is just grinning from ear to ear. So once again, in the middle of the night, he creeps out with the rat. He opens the cage of the cat. He dangles the rat in front of the cat, and of course, the cat just swallows that rat in one gulp. So the next morning, once again, oh no, my golden-eared mouse, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm ruined. So the innkeeper says, well, I don't know how it happened. I put the cat in the cage myself. And Tinnaman says, are you calling me a liar? No, of course not. What can I do to compensate you? Give me the cat and 10 pieces of silver. So this went on. And the scam was the same, just the pieces that he used were different. Finally, after many, many years, Tinnaman has 1,000 pieces of silver, a beautiful chestnut-colored horse, and he's dressed in silks. And he decides it's time to go show off for his brother, because he's sure his brother is a failure. So once again, he rides up 55 ridges of the mountain, goes around 99 bends in the river, and he comes to the same plot of land. There's nothing there except more rocks and more weeds. And he thinks, ha! I knew it. My brother had to give up. He probably starved to death. Oh, I'm the smart one. And then he hears some singing. So he goes around one more bend in the river. And there is a verdant valley with flax seeds after flax seed, one right after the other. And the farmers are working in the field, and other folks are weaving the flax into cloth. And Tinnaman is looking at this and just shaking his head. And suddenly, a whirlwind comes up, and it picks Tinnaman and the horse up into a place of judgment, where he's bitten by the rat, he's scratched by the cat, and he's trampled to death by the horse. And then a ghost grabs his dead body and takes him off to a place of retribution, where for 10,000 years he has to repay for his sins. The horse, meanwhile, is gently dropped back to earth, and it's eating eating grass as horses do and walking along. And a couple of hours later, Ginseng is walking through the valley that he's created with his farmer friends. And he says to himself, gee, I wonder where the horse came from. Mr. Toastmaster.